Hi, everybody. Welcome to our video introduction to our Heroes Toolkit for Health Accelerators that are in the Heroes program. We're going to spend about just a few minutes walking through the tool and how you'll all be able to use this, this online platform in order to track your progress in the Heroes program. By way of introduction, my name is Darshak Sanghavi. I am a program manager at ARPA-H, responsible for the Heroes program, and I'm joined by several colleagues that have helped develop this platform for us. In particular, Kelsey Gardner. She and I are going to walk through this. So Kelsey, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thanks for the intro, Darshak. My name is Kelsey. I'm a UX designer from MITRE that has been working on the dashboard you've seen so far. And like you said, we're revealing the new functionality for the health accelerators.
So awesome. Well, we can jump right into it. And what I'll just say here is this tool is still under construction. And so this is but a little bit of an early preview just because we wanted you to start to feel comfortable and develop some familiarity with some of the tools that you'll have. So many of you have already seen the Heroes outcome mapping tool that you used to develop the geographies that have been the basis of the applications you made to the program. What we're going to do today is focus on the additional functionality on tracking the progress during that time and also how reward payments would be calculated as well. So with that, I'm going to ask Kelsey to pretend that you are one of our performers. You'll each be given, by the way, logins at some point and access to this. But go ahead, if you were sort of mimicking a performer, go ahead and walk through this login process and bring us to that screen that we'll be talking about.
Sure thing. So you'll see a new link in the upper right-hand corner called Projects, where you'll have a link to log in. And once you create your credentials, you'll be able to log in via this button. You'll go through some authentication processes on our end, and then you'll arrive at the project dashboard.
Yeah. So this is the exciting new dashboard that you'll all have access to, and we're going to walk you through this screen because there's a lot on here, but we want to kind of give you a sense of what this might look like. So so at the top you'll see it says example 1. And this is where your project with the title and the geography will be specified along with that period of performance. As you know, we're looking at a hypothetical start date currently of August of 2025, and the program would run for 3 years. Here, we are going to sort of pretend that we are looking at the serious obstetrical complication or the maternal health outcome in the state of Maryland. But each of you, as we go through this, keep in mind you'll have your own view with your outcome, whether it's opioid use disorder with overdose. It could be the serious obstetrical complications like this one, or the cardiovascular risk, or alcohol-related health harms. But the key thing is that this will be customized for your view. We've chosen Maryland here really for no reason other than the fact that I spent 5 years in Maryland going to medical school, and a fellowship there. So I feel like that's where my career in healthcare really started. So that's the only reason we've chosen it here. But if you want to just, what you'll see here is the area of performance. So you'll see the highlighted area. So each of you will have that area in which you're operating that'll be highlighted. Here we've looked at the state of Maryland. And up top, you can then use that drop down to look at data over the past few years. And so I'm going to ask Kelsey to just sort of go through monthly data, the 6-year rolling average, and project progress one by one, and sort of show how performers might look at, well, that national average, and then, of course, your project geography as well.
Sure. So what we're looking at right now is the monthly data for SOCs per 10,000 deliveries. And the vertical line here shows the time that you selected. In this case, is January 2024. So you can kind of pinpoint that specific time on the chart on the right. And then if we switch over to 6-month rolling average data, you'll see the same national.
Kelsey, I just want to make sure we talk through a little bit of the monthly data. If you go back, just because I want to make sure that, because there's a lot on this screen, and again, as I said, many of the performers, you'll each be given access to like a little sandbox to walk through this. But what Kelsey and her team have developed here is a really nice view. I just want to make sure we talk about what that's showing. So what's shown in blue right there is the rate of the outcome in the geography that you as a performer have selected. So here in the state of Maryland. And what we're looking at is month to month what that rate is. And this will be either data that we supply or, depending on the agreement that you as a performer made, data that you have supplied, that we have validated the methodology of that. In this case, this is real data, by the way, but this is data that we have supplied. And you can see in the geography that that rate kind of month to month varies a little bit. There's some seasonal variation in Maryland. In gray, by the way, that's the national rate that we're seeing month to month there. And you can see that because that's a much bigger denominator, that rate is a little bit more stable over time. So that's month to month. So you can get a sense of, okay, are there big changes? Like this will be a you as performers to be able to respond to those and kind of see that month to month. But of course, because month to month data could vary a lot. You get that seasonal variation. There could be a spike every now and then. One of the key thing that the outcome payments will be focused on is actually the 6-month rolling average. So you'll see, as Kelsey is going to go over to that, what that looks like. And now look at that. Look how much smoother that is, because now we're looking at that 6-month average. So month-to-month variation falls out a little bit. And so if you look at that rate there, as Kelsey's shown, you see that project geography, the state of Maryland, that obstetrical complication rate is kind of hanging out around 350 or so up until the start of this time period. And then the gray area, again, that's the national average, is also pretty stable. Now you see towards the tail end of it, in the, just as we get to closer time, those estimates are not with full complete data yet. So we're not going to pay as much attention to those, but please just keep your attention on the left of that line. You can see that 6-month rolling average gives you much more stability over that time, which is what we'd expect to see. And then, of course, we're going to say, okay, how is your project doing? So in other words, looking at the difference, like comparing what is the rate of change in this area, Maryland, compared to the national average. In other words, this is the performance metric. And you can see that the rate it's about the same. It's not really getting over that period of time. It's fairly stable, largely because the interventions haven't even really started. And so you can see that rate of obstetrical complications, Maryland does pretty much what the whole country does. It's close to no real difference in difference. It's between 0 and 0.2% during that period of time. So this gives you that performance related view. And then Kelsey, why don't we go over and then look at what that payout would look like then. And please keep in mind here on the payout side, we've just made up some numbers. So this is not numbers from what you're seeing above, but we're walking through this just to give you a sense of how this could work. And in this scenario, we are creating this this sort of a hypothetical situation where Maryland is actually improved their obstetrical complication rates by 10% over what the national trend has been. So in other words, they have actually beat that national trend. They're at 10%. And so we're going to walk through what this looks like with the payout with the HEROES program, assuming that they are have that full $45 billion sort of pot of money. So you want to just open that up, Kelsey, and walk us through what that could look like?
Sure. So again, these figures represent what the hypothetical max payout and target rates would be for this particular 6-month period. So in this example, the health accelerator is in month 7 to 12. And so when you expand this, you can see, using these figures that you saw above, how we arrived at the payout calculation. So starting at the baseline,
Right.
you can see those rates for national and your project geography. And then as you walk through it, you can see how much you've improved those performance rates has
Right.
gotten you to that payout
Yeah.
number.
And building on what Kelsey is showing here, what we want to show, what's important here is that there's actually a whole explanation of how these are being calculated. So to review where we're at, Kelsey, we want to go back to step one, if that's okay. We'll just walk through this because there's a lot here. On the right-hand side of the screen, what Kelsey's team has created is this payout progress. So as many of you where in the first checkpoint, the actual payout, as you all know, there's a minimum $2 million that AHAs would be eligible for, and then PHAs, whatever you've negotiated from your outcome buyers. And then you can see the maximum amount is 3.75 million per period of time in that first year. The next year, the maximum payout is a little more, and then the third year, the payouts are even more than that. That's the maximum amount that according to the agreements is potentially available for payout at that time. Now, the thing is on the left-hand side, which is we're calculating what does that actually look like. So here in month 12, the actual reduction is more than the target amount, which was 10%. So they exceeded it. They're going to get the maximum payout. So there you see that payout is 3.75 million. That's that purple bar. So what you can then, you'll get, this performer will get $3.75 million. And then if they want to understand how did you come up with that 10.4%, that's what that stepwise pattern lets you do. So Kelsey has been walking through it. See, right, the first step is what's the baseline? So it talks you through. Here's your project baseline in your geography. Here's the national baseline. It'll be populated with numbers. And then we go to the next slide. These aren't filled in yet, but they will be at the time this goes live. We'll say, okay, in the nation, oh, this is what we saw. We went from this number to this number, and so we saw a 1% worsening of the rates. In contrast, in your project area, your numbers got better from this number to this number and improved by 9.38%. Then we go to the next one. Say, okay, well, that shows that the overall improvement, the difference in difference is the difference in both of those. That's 10.43%. That's how we get that actual number. And this would all be powered by the numbers on the top of the screen, if those are real numbers. Then we go to the next step. And this shows the payout calculations that you've agreed to in the contract. So it shows, okay, what was that target reduction? So, okay, right at the top, the target rate was 10%. Your improvement was 10.4%, and that's how you sort of calculate that payout based on the rate card there. And we go to the final screen, and this just kind of gives you the summary. So that's the idea. That's the introduction to the whole tool. And we really wanted to balance sort of usability and simplicity, but with the ability to get the information you needed. So really appreciate the time you've taken. Please know that this is in progress. So you'll be getting some information. You'll have the time to sort of familiarize yourself with this and play with it. Please reach out to us if there are questions. You think some features are confusing. We're really open to feedback. And Kelsey and her team, you see our other team members here from MITRE, Alice, Rick, and Alex, have been working diligently to make sure that this tool is as good as it can be. So with that, I will thank you for your attention. Wish you all the best, and we look forward to working with you all. Bye, everybody.